the Armenian commentators, they never introduced the Azerbaijani song.
As far as I remember, it was similar, especially first years. It was similar, silence usually.
Why was Eurovision important to you? Hello and welcome to Bright Garden Voices. My name is Aram.
My name is Amrah.
And my name is Alex.
And this is the first edition of the Bright Garden Voices podcast. And today we're here to talk about Eurovision. General disclaimer, we've been wanting to do this podcast for a long while now, but we were hesitant because recently Eurovision has been politicized and become at the epicenter of an even bigger controversy that has usually been following the contest since very much its creation, because Eurovision has been including Israel as a competing state, despite the calls to exclude Israel due to the genocide in Gaza. And there is currently a very big movement of boycott that the contest has been seeing, and very recently 5 different countries decided not to participate in the contest. So it was also, on a personal note for me, an issue of ethics, since we were thinking on how to approach the contest or how to approach a discussion about the contest. So we decided that I think an ethical way of having this podcast would be to discuss the history of the contest becoming a political tool, and also the history of the contest uniting people and dividing people, also specifically in the context of Armenia and Azerbaijan, and in general, how the contest has been politicized, or the impact, the cultural and political impact of Eurovision. And that's what we're here to discuss today. Yeah, I guess that was the disclaimer about how the contest has been under scrutiny this few years. Since I'm from Armenia and Amrah and Alex are from Azerbaijan, we can maybe start from Armenia and Azerbaijan and talk a little bit about the Armenian-Azerbaijani history in Eurovision first, and then we can discuss everything else. So, just to start, my first memory of Eurovision was from 2006. I was 9 years old. I was half asleep watching with my parents. It was the first time Armenia was participating. And the very first year that Armenia was participating, the singer was born in Nagorno-Karabakh. He was originally from Nagorno-Karabakh. So that was already a big deal. And Azerbaijan wasn't in the contest yet. Georgia wasn't in the contest yet. So Armenia was the first country from South Caucasus to be in Eurovision, and the song had very Caucasian / Middle Eastern elements, and it was actually a huge backlash in Armenia too, because a lot of people were saying, why are we sending this Turkish music to Eurovision? So it was a difficult situation in general. But then Armenia qualified for the final, came 8th, and then Azerbaijan started participating in 2008. With I think Eldar and Samir, day after day. And then when Azerbaijan started participating, that's when the history started of Armenia and Azerbaijan using this contest to prove something to one another, to each other. But I guess my first I would love to hear from you guys. What was your first memory of Eurovision?
Yeah, first of all, I have a small note about your entrance. I also completely agree that this year is something extraordinary, and I really hope that it will not last long in the next years. The war will end, the genocide will end, or the Eurovision committee will act more to exclude Israel, how they did about Russia. And about my first memory about Eurovision, it is very similar. when first Azerbaijan participated, my family was watching, and I was with my family. Generally, first a few years when Azerbaijan started to participate, I remember that it was family gathering and we were watching.
Yeah.
And also my age was quite low. That's why my parents were explaining me how it is going, how is the procedure, and it was very exciting. Even I remember that we were waiting a few weeks beforehand that okay, that date is Eurovision date, and it was very extraordinary days. That's why we were not sleeping until sometime in the night. Normally we were sleeping earlier, but that days were special. We were joining our parents. That's why it was very exciting. Yeah, and then I continued to watch, but it is also not only cultural thing, but I always remember this as family gathering thing. That's why it's very sweet memory for me.
I'm a bit young, and when Azerbaijan first participated, I was just 1 year old.
Oh.
But later, when I became 7 and 8, I remember in my country, Azerbaijan faced something new in Eurovision in 2014 when Conchita Wurst won, and it was something extraordinary for the audience of Azerbaijan and the people. And then it's the name Conchita has been spread in the society, and everyone talked about it, and that's how I learned about Eurovision, and I started to vote later. And but in my case, I can say that Eurovision was the only tolerant and inclusive way in our television culture in Azerbaijan. So it was very always important for me because I always saw myself there, not others. TVs, shows, and yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. In Armenia as well, actually, I think it was a really different level of you had Armenian television and the television shows that Armenian channels would produce, and of course because of various issues Armenian TV channels don't have that much money. Armenian TV channels like Caucasian TV channels in general, I don't think they have the basically the weight to produce something as big. So Eurovision was something that was happening each year. Eurovision was something that was happening once a year, and people were waiting for that, especially I remember 2006, 2007, 2008, the first years that we were in it. I remember looking outside the window, and it was the middle of the night. It started in in the midnight or 11 p.m. and almost all of the surrounding buildings, the lights were on because everyone was watching. And of course it was also because Eurovision has a history of big queer representation. So for queer people in South Caucasus and in general post-Soviet space, Eastern Europe, it was and in general, not only Eastern Europe, I think in general for queer people everywhere, it was a really big really big insight into European queerness, really big representation, because we don't also see good queer representation, or at least fun queer representation on our channels, in the shows that we're watching every day. And yeah, it was definitely interesting. Conchita was also huge. It made huge waves in Armenia too, especially because Armenia was the favorite to win that year, and that didn't happen. Conchita won. So a lot of people were angry, but also a lot of people voted for Conchita in Armenia. Yeah. And it was actually, interestingly, one of the first years that Armenia and Azerbaijan didn't really fight each other, the fans on social media, because Conchita was like basically like everyone's focus was on Conchita.
The main target.
Yeah, it was the main. She was the main target basically, because I remember like in other years, Armenians and Azerbaijanis like I don't know, like you can tell me more, but like mostly I remember that in like if like the Armenian public TV that like broadcasts Eurovision, whenever the like there's this like postcards right before the performance, and usually the hosts, the Armenian like commentators, they never introduce the Azerbaijani song or the singer. Like did the Azerbaijanis ever introduce Armenians?
As far as I remember, it was similar, always.
Yeah.
Especially first years, it was similar. Silence usually.
It was just silence, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, in Armenia as well. I remember there were like a few things that were happening between Armenia and Azerbaijan. I think once in 2009 there was this like postcard, and the this monument in Stepanakert in Nagorno-Karabakh, basically with like grandpa and grandma. It was in the Armenian postcard, and the Azerbaijanis complained, and it was removed. And then when Sirusho was like announcing the Armenian votes, she had like this like the poster in her hand with the monument on it. That was a thing. I remember there was this drama when like I think Azerbaijanis voted for Armenia and they were interrogated in 2009, the same year. I remember in 2016, I think Ivet Amukuchan, the Armenian participant, raised the Nagorno-Karabakh flag when she qualified. So there were like a few things that were happening between Armenia and Azerbaijan. But I don't know, like, do you remember any like interactions on like how like generally like Armenian songs were like accepted? Like, were there like cases where like Azerbaijanis really liked Armenian songs in Eurovision?
As far as I remember, generally it was liked because the music taste is similar. I
Yeah.
think that's why generally it was liked, but it was not publicly accepted or something. But me personally, and I remember many people were looking forward to hear Armenian song because it was always something interesting for them. And a few times I remember I heard publicly Armenian Eurovision song somewhere in Azerbaijan, but I don't remember exactly where, how, but I remember this memory.
One of my favorite Armenian Eurovision song was Snap by Rosa. And actually, it didn't show attention or love during the contest, but after the Eurovision, it became a global trend. Record streams on Spotify, Apple Music, and the singer got famous and saw international attention, and song were really great. Yeah, but as that song became trending on, especially on TikTok, like including Azerbaijanis and many people across the world, use that sound. But I remember also some videos explaining that that song is really sang by an Armenian singer, but it's liked because it's good, really.
Yeah, I was really surprised because she came like 20th in the final, and then like a couple months later I'm seeing that like I was following this page on Twitter called like Eurovision Statistics or something like that, and then like I was seeing that the number of streams were rising for Snap, and I was like, what's happening? Why is this happening? And then I think like it was also like used in a TV show on Apple TV. It's called Shrinking, as like a soundtrack. Yeah, and I feel like that's like interesting because I think what happened was like because we didn't have any like big cultural connections towards one another like after the USSR fell. So we had this war and we didn't really have like any communication and stuff. So Eurovision was this like one portal when you you take a look into Azerbaijan from Armenia, or you take a look into Armenia from Azerbaijan. Like I remember that I had like my favorite songs, like, or I had like songs. I remember like once, a couple times actually, I voted for Azerbaijan as well in Eurovision. Like I think the first time I voted in 2017 for Azerbaijan for Skeletons with the Hajj.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too.
And then like I voted for I think actually like I voted a couple of times. I think I voted also in 2021 I voted as well. Not sorry, 2022, not 2021. But yeah, like that was interesting. It was also like interesting to see like how the fans interacted. Like I have a story of like I have a friend with like, and we've been friends for years. But we met each other in 2015 in a Facebook group about Eurovision. Like we now our friendship is based on like other things, like political things, but like we met each other in a Eurovision group. And like I don't know, like have you ever like interacted with Armenians in the context of Eurovision? Have you seen like Armenians and Azerbaijanis talk to each other in the context of Eurovision? Because I think like it also kind of connected.
I have seen it a lot. I have seen on social media. I have heard from my friends that they founded connections based on Eurovision, and not personally. I don't remember. Maybe it happened, but I don't remember now. But yeah, it happened, of course, because Eurovision is something very effective for intercultural dialogue and generally for keeping everything aside and focus on music. That's why, yeah, it happened a lot, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I also saw like a lot, like especially also like I think what we also need to discuss is that this year there was the Junior Eurovision.
Yeah.
So like Armenia has won the Junior Eurovision twice. By the way, the first Armenian winner of Junior Eurovision, this was 2011. It was a kid from Nagorno-Karabakh as well.
Malena Kami.
And that was the second one that happened in 2021. And then like yeah, Kami Malena was like I think also a lot of people think of Malena Kami. Like a lot of people think of Malena as like the Loreen of Junior Eurovision, you know?
Yeah.
Because Loreen like kind of changed Eurovision and the Kami changed Junior Eurovision. And this year Armenia for the first time ever got points from the Azerbaijani jury.
Yeah.
We got 3 points from the Azerbaijani jury. Now, like in 2008 and 2009, the Armenian televote has voted for Azerbaijan, but we've never gotten any points from Azerbaijan ever. So this was the first time in any Eurovision contest that like we got points from Azerbaijan. Yeah. And also, like interestingly, another thing was that like there was like another contest, like a more post-Soviet contest, like that happened recently, I think in Kazakhstan, where like the Azerbaijani jury gave like 12 points to the Armenian contestant. So like, what do you think this is? Do you think this is like a new era for the two countries? Like, is this like a start for cultural connections?
I think the first FND, our Eurovision representative, voted 12 points in Kazakhstan. It was not something political. It was a personal, individual choice. That's why she got hate, really like across the people and from the her own sector of music sector. She got like hate. And she also, I remember, asked for high representatives of the government to support her because she was saying that it's not something forbidden. You know, our president is also makes peace on the way on peace talks between countries. So I'm
Yeah.
not doing something wrong. And but I think after all these conversations and the nationwide discussions about Azerbaijan's point to Armenia, what happened in Junior Eurovision is not just a personal vote or something individual. I think it's political, and it was a message that the state television of Azerbaijan like really liked Armenia, and they're not ashamed of their votes by voting. I think it's a new era. Yeah, but I also liked Armenia's presentation. Yeah, but and I also said that Azerbaijanis started to comment that we gave the votes, why Armenia didn't give us votes. But the thing is, we as a nation, like, didn't like our representative. The song, the artists were good, her voice, but the song was wrong chosen to her. We like a general public thoughts was that the song is not good. Yeah,
Well, my heart is a little bit full about the recent incident about this voting. When I saw this video first from Samira, I thought that how cute it happened. It was very good, and it will. I thought that it will be accepted very easily.
Yeah.
But then when I saw so much public pressure on her, even she started to deny a few times what she said before, like this, a few times publicly needed to explain what happened, why. I was a little bit disappointed. But I think that all change, big changes are starting with such pain, difficulties. I think it will be normalized in the future. That's why, from this perspective, I agree that it's the new era. I believe to this. It will be more normal in next few years. But it's also interesting for me how it is perceived and accepted in Armenia. Maybe you can talk about this. If people followed the afterward pressure on Samira as well, and how it was accepted first time, it's also interesting to know.
Yeah, actually, about like Samira Efendi and the vote in Kazakhstan, like it was covered in the Armenian media. It was like, and it was funny because like the Armenian media also can be very nationalist. So it was funny to see like what angle they were using to cover this, because basically what they were saying is like the Azerbaijani jury member is under pressure for voting for Armenia. And like the way I was seeing the discussion as well, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be her. I would not want to be her in this situation, because it was really, it was a complicated situation. But like the Armenians were following, and I think like the Armenians, like the general public, was curious and interested to know that like, so an Azerbaijani jury member is voting for Armenia. It doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't happen often. So like I think the Armenian general public, from what I could see in the comments, like they could also see that like maybe like something is changing now that we're seeing like this developments. And the same, like it was also further confirmed with Junior Eurovision where we got like those 3 points. I was expecting points. I think like now this year, since since neither Armenia nor Azerbaijan are boycotting the contest, I actually do expect more points for each other. I'm assuming the Armenian jury and Azerbaijani jury, like they will also vote for each other in the Eurovision next year. in like 2026. This year actually, not next year. We're recording on January 5th. So yeah, I think the Armenian general public also like sees and expects like new things. But yeah, it was also covered widely in the media that this thing is happening, and people were having like different reactions. But I think most people were surprised and maybe even pleasantly surprised that like this is something that is happening now and has not happened before. Yeah, it was interesting to see because people were also like, I think it also like further opened this channel of like people talking to one another like in the comments, people talking to each other in the groups, etc., etc. I like my opinions are on Junior Eurovision. Like even when I was like actively following the contest, like to me it was always like I was always more careful to comment on anything on Junior Eurovision because it's kids, and I don't want to be like it's one thing to like talk about like adults singing and be like what the hell was that outfit, or like why were you not singing, but like when it's kids I'm always like trying to be more careful. I actually liked the Azerbaijani performance. I thought it was really fun, like the meow meow, but probably because I'm a cat person. But like yeah, it was fun to watch. It's just yeah, I'm expecting like I'm just curious to see like how it continues. Also because so if we're talking about like the boycott of Eurovision because of Israel, it was the boycott started like the active boycott started in 2024 and 2025, like right after like October 7th, people were saying exclude Israel. So Eurovision has been like getting this like backlash for like 2 years, over 2 years, and it's gonna get worse because they're not backing down. And it's also gonna be interesting to see like how like in the context of like, so Armenia and Azerbaijan were fighting each other for years on Eurovision using the contest in different ways, and now Armenia and Azerbaijan are kind of like making up and like starting to talk to each other right when the contest is getting so much backlash from a different issue, from a different perspective. So yeah, it's gonna be like a really interesting thing to witness next year, like how like Armenia and Azerbaijan are gonna be framed when the contest is already like under so much scrutiny because of Israel. Which kind of like, not that it brings to this topic, but I also kind of like wanted to include this, like just like to like go back a little bit. Like, can you tell me like your favorite songs? I can start with this. So my favorite song from Eurovision is actually like, there's this song called Hatrit Munsigra in 2019. It was an Icelandic band, BDSM techno band in 2019. And it was called Hate Will Prevail, Hatrit Munsigra. That's my favorite song from Eurovision ever. And my favorite song from Azerbaijan would probably be Sabina Babayeva's When the Music Dies in 2012. This was when Azerbaijan was hosting actually, and Armenia didn't participate. And my favorite Armenian song probably is Future Lover by Brunette. So what's your favorite song ever? What's your favorite Armenian, and what's your favorite Azerbaijani? Do you have a list?
Well, favorite song ever, it's very difficult to choose one for me, and it's generally difficult. But from Armenia, actually there's also a reason, because it was first years, and I especially remember in my mind when I watched with my family, there was Can Can.
Yes.
I don't remember the year exactly, but
It was 2009.
9, yes. I was child, and as a child I liked it, and it was very a little bit strange because it was not so common to like Armenian music, and I am not sure if I was familiar with any other Armenian music at that time. That's why I always remember especially that Azerbaijani. Don't judge me, but I like Cleopatra, but unfortunately she could not perform it. Also, from all times, always was
Yeah,
I was liking.
that was also 2009.
Nine.
Same year as
Yeah,
Can Can.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You?
My favorite Armenian song is Snap from Rosa Lin, and Azerbaijani. It's I like actually. I have top three most favorite. They are Chingiz Trus, Dihar Skeletons, and the Samra Miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my favorite among them is Chingiz Trus.
Yeah. That was
Uh,
also 2019. Yeah.
yeah, but in general, Eurovision, there are tons of music, tons of good performances, so it's hard to choose one actually. Maybe can be a specific year because sometimes it's hard to compare. You like musics, but to be compared, they are not same performance, music tone. That's why it's hard because it's all different vibes. But yeah,
Yeah, it's also like I have like a top, like there's this like thing, there's this like top Eurovision 250 that like is a radio broadcast every end of every year, where like you vote, you submit your top 10, and then they broadcast the results on December 31st. And each year, mostly Loreen wins with Euphoria.
yeah.
Or with Tattoo. But like yeah, I always struggle to like make this top 10. But yeah, like it's interesting to see like how Eurovision like will go on, will continue, what will happen with Israel, etc. I can say that like to me Eurovision has been like kind of like just a fun thing to watch, a fun group, a community to be part of, and like a way to connect with people. I don't know, like how would you like, why was Eurovision important to you?
By the way, let's don't forget the kids.
Yeah.
My favorite junior Eurovision performance, total, is Malina's performance, Gami Gami. We were at the same age, and now we are the same age, and it was 5 years ago. She was stunning, like as a minor teenager. Her performance looked very professional, so good, and her vocal, even though it was like both native language and English, it was like really good. She really deserved that. And from Azerbaijan, actually Azerbaijan didn't perform a lot in Junior Eurovision, and among a few, my favorite is Sona. I forgot the song.
Was it the same year as Malena?
Yeah,
Yes,
same
yes.
year.
I like, that's my favorite too from Azerbaijan.
Yeah, and just one of those days.
Yeah, just one of those days. Yeah.
And interesting fact, when Malena won, our Sona went to Malena's room and hugged and congratulated Malena. This was also
Yeah, I forgot about that.
yes, and it actually also got attention from the society in Azerbaijan, but it was like actually not bad, not hateful too much as what we have seen recently. It was,
I think it's because it was like a year after the war, and also it was probably because it was the kids,
Yeah.
and like
It's important.
once again, like people people hate adults probably more than they hate kids.
Yeah.
And it was like a cute moment. I remember it being discussed. I forgot about it somehow, but I do remember it being discussed also in Armenia, that like they came to hug, and like it was like a cute moment.
Yeah.
And Armenians were already happy that they won. So
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
yeah, like they were like, oh, cute, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite is also like I also really liked Sona's song, Just One of Those Days from Armenia. My favorite, actually, I love Malena. My favorite is actually this year's song. It was like a really magical performance. I really liked it. Yeah, yeah, it was really generally. I think I was watching the contest this year, the Junior Eurovision, and thinking that like this might be one of the last times that I watched a contest like in a while, because I just cannot bring myself to watch it watch like the adult contest anymore, because it's been just so like it's been like kind of tarnished in such a way that like I cannot bring myself to watch it. But yeah, like it really meant a lot to me as well, like from like a community perspective, cultural perspective. And I still think there aren't many like great TV shows that like on our local channels that provide that kind of quality.
Yeah, if we go back to your question before, how it affects and how we see the future of Eurovision. Yeah, this year it's probably it will be the first year that I will not watch at all, and even until now I have not followed what's going on because of the issue participation of Israel that we mentioned. But yeah, Eurovision always had an important role in South Caucasus countries, also all around the world. Also, it was important for our European identity as well, I think, because we don't have a lot of platforms that we recognize other European countries and interact with each other, but it has always been such a platform that we have seen together as part of this European community, and it was good frame to know, learn different cultures, at least for many people, even names of countries or capitals of countries. So yeah, I hope it will not last a lot, that this break, and it will become again important for audience in our countries.
For me, Eurovision means a lot and taught me a lot. For music is art, and art is diverse, and it's beautiful to see how young people or general people express themselves, because we all know that for artists, especially musicians, Eurovision is very important. That big stage, performing, and having your say and your expression. It's important because for me, till as a person who followed Eurovision since childhood, I mean, most of the time after my age of 10, I followed, and it made a good impact on me, such as confidence, seeing people, at least people of my origin, to be able to perform in an international stage always inspired me that I can also be one of them, even though I'm not a singer or I can't sing. It's just about self-expression, and I believe that everyone has a something to say, something to perform, something to express. So it's good for the European communities to see that something is possible, hope is real, and you should follow your dreams. And most of the time we see that people on the Eurovision stage are not the ones who had a huge background or career. They were just ones whose like lives like started after the Eurovision.
It's usually new artists.
Yeah, and this is actually gives a real confidence and inspiration to people. So it means a lot actually. It's about unity and solidarity across the borders. So it's good. Yeah. The motto is also good. United by music. Yeah, I love that. It has right in these times bad sides. Yeah, I was also last year interviewed by queer media platforms on Eurovision about my views that how I feel as a queer person after the Israel participation, and we saw that a lot of LGBTQ communities reported that they felt so nervous when they saw the Israeli participation. However, we all know that Eurovision means a lot, especially on the queer people. It has a huge queer sense. Yeah, it's damaged us a bit, but yeah, I'm boycotting too.
Yeah, it damaged us. Yeah, it kind of damaged us a lot. Like, I want to recommend a video called "The Queer Politics of Eurovision" by Verily BG. It's a really good breakdown on how like Eurovision has been historically, like why it was created. It's like the relationship of Eastern Europe, Western Europe, how queerness was. In how queerness like came to be in Eurovision. Actually, the first drag queen in Eurovision was from Slovenia, so like from a post-communist Southern European country. It's a really good video. I recommend everyone to watch it. Yeah, I also, as a queer person, I also was very. It felt very like kind of like deceptive to see just how like queerness was like instrumentalized also like in this like propaganda recently. But my hopes are high that this will not continue for long, and my hopes are high that like Eurovision will once again be like a way for people to connect to each other. Instead of just like being a show for the sake of a show and for the sake of business.
Yeah. And we will vote each other.
And we will vote for each other freely, yes.
Yeah.